Hi everybody. I think I'm live. If you see me, please tell me you see me. This is brand new for me. Let's see, I don't want to invite anybody. Let's see. You guys are going to have to stay patient with me for a second while I figure out how to run this. This is telling me all my live viewers here with all your beautiful pictures. I'm so glad there's people here. Yay. I just need to find the comments. If some of you can maybe start commenting, just maybe tell me where you're viewing from. That way I can know that I can get your comments as well. And then we'll get rolling. I've got a friend here standing by, an expert live Facebooker, so maybe she can help me too. I'm so glad that you guys are all tuning in with me tonight. I'll tell you what, this past couple days have been really super incredible on my end. I know a lot of you have been experiencing your own, well, just having your own amazing experience after this eclipse energy, and maybe even some before. I know mine started about 2 weeks before and is continuing to morph and change as we go here, but I still am not seeing any comments. So if you guys are commenting, or if anyone knows how to tell me how to comment, you can maybe let me know. Let's see. I'll just start pushing things here. There we go. I see you. Let's see. I pushed one aside. Perfect. Thank you, Beth. Thanks for saving me. I finally know here who can see me and who can't. Okay, perfect. So now I'm going to get started. Thanks for bearing with me a little bit. You know, the solar eclipse does represent stepping into the new and creating new and receiving new. And so doing Facebook Live is definitely a new thing for me. That's for sure. And people have been telling me I need to do it for months and months now. And I've even gotten to the point of like getting ready and even, you know, getting ready to push record, and then I just stop. Like I just kind of freeze and haven't been able to do it. And I don't know why, because I talk to people all day long. So I'm not afraid to talk, and I'm certainly not afraid to answer any of your questions. So, so I just want to dive in. Here's where this all began and why I'm doing this Facebook Live tonight. A couple days ago, after the eclipse, I actually had a lot of similar symptoms that maybe some of you had. I felt this incredible overwhelming heart surge that went up into my throat, and then it went up into kind of my third eye, and then just came out in just tears and tears and tears. Like I cried through the whole thing. And I was journaling right before it, so I was extremely reflective. And during the actual totality of the eclipse, and I'm here in Nashville, so I was right in the hub of it. What happened is I just felt this overwhelming sense of oneness and gratitude and joy and unconditional love. And I'm a pretty peaceful person in my life. I'm a very positive person as well, and I consider myself to be very much at peace a lot of the time. But this was a little different. This was just a sense of fearlessness, a sense of like no weight, no burden, no stress, no, like everyone around me felt like me. It just felt like they were a part of me too. So it was pretty incredible. And afterwards, I let the whole crowd just leave the hilltop that we were on. And I sat there by myself and journaled for a little bit. And then I got really hungry. So I decided to go to a restaurant and grab some food. And as soon as I sat down and I ordered, I immediately got tired, like a trance-like state. And I just wanted to lay right down there in the booth. I just wanted to lay down and sleep, and I could have, but I finally made it through, and I got to my car, and it was really dangerous driving home. I just kept wanting to shut my eyes every stoplight and just pull over and sleep. And I've actually had to do that before, back in 2012 a few times. So I kind of knew what was going on. And that is that it was an energetic sleep. It's what I call when the spirit tries to put us asleep so that we can heal, or so that we can be recalibrated within our chakra system. So I made it home. I went straight to bed. I was out like a light, and I tried to wake myself up within an hour because I had a coaching session. And I could not do it. As soon as I woke up, I was disoriented because I woke myself up out of it. I was disoriented, I was dizzy, lightheaded, a little nauseous. So I ended up canceling my session, and thankfully she was having symptoms too, so it was no big deal. And then and then after that, I started getting a headache and just still feeling nausea. And I had a lot of creative work to do that night. I had a lot of writing to do for a project that I'm creating. And as I just started looking at it, I thought, oh, there's no way I'm going to be able to do this. And I realized that channeling or being extremely fluid, creative-wise, even though we might be full of content and just full of energy to create, it was very, I wouldn't say dangerous, but it was extremely difficult to do while receiving this kind of download of energy. And so I stayed away from the writing, but I knew this whole time as I woke up to about 50 different messages from my text and my email and my Facebook saying, Trina, why am I tired all of a sudden? Trina, why did I cry through the whole thing? What is wrong with me? And I realized something, I wasn't the only one. I'm not the only sensitive one on the planet. Like there was something going, happening within us all. So I did what I could to write just a short article on my own personal experience and my own personal wisdom about this kind of phenomenon. And it ended up, when I woke up the next morning, it had went viral. And as of now, I think it's like 560,000 views or something. It just keeps going up, like 4,000 every minute. And so, and I've received hundreds of messages over the last day. Just, all of you sharing your feedback and your questions and confusion. And so I knew that I wouldn't be able to respond to everybody, and I wanted to. So I did the next best thing, and I'm doing this Facebook Live, and I'm here to answer your specific questions, or just give you a place to be able to see how not alone you are, and that you're not crazy, and that you're not, that we're not even special. Today I received a letter from someone that says, I don't feel a thing. I don't feel it. And, there are some people here on the planet. I mean, I'm an artist, so I've never known this, but there are some people here that just are not tuned in to the sensitivity of energetics and emotions and environments in the world. And thankfully, thank God, God created people like that. Because I don't know if we'd get anything done in this planet if they were all made up of people like me who feels everything and everyone and constantly has to discern what's mine and what's theirs. So tonight, there are a few things that I do for sure want to talk to you about, and then I want to get to all of your questions. Actually, let me just see here. I want to scroll back and see. Wow, there's so many of you. I'm so grateful. I'm just so happy that this is working. Christian, hi. Gina, hello. Commodore Grill. Oh, I love it. Chris Young. I said that. Andrea Presley, hello. I haven't seen you since Glennon Doyle. Patty Horner, Nebraska. Thank you for always being such a cheerleader. My sister Marla, yay, family showed up. Janice, hi. Beth. Okay, let's see. Who? Great. I was feeling, Angie Nicole, I don't know you personally, but I just want to read here. I was feeling really angry and had a headache, and I wasn't outside when the eclipse happened. I've been feeling not as positive and not sure why. Okay, this is a great question to actually start with. A lot of people were saying they were not outside, so they don't understand why they're experiencing what they're experiencing. First of all, energy doesn't have to hit us directly for us to feel it. Actually, I do energy work all the time with clients that are in other countries, that are in other states. And I can tune into their energy and I can read them and I know what's going on in their system. I can sometimes even feel their physical symptoms. So energy passes through all things. So whether you were in your house or not, this energy is so potent, you would have felt it, because essentially how I want to explain this is what is happening out there is also happening in here. What the eclipse symbolized was the sun and the moon and the earth all coming together in one perfect moment, all aligning in one perfect moment where the light and the dark merged. And that is what is happening within us. It was our mind, body, and spirit all aligning at the same moment, at that one time. And I think that's why I felt that overwhelming sense of unconditional love. You know, to me, that's God. To me, that's spirit. To me, that's who created me, who's answering me, who's helping me, who's providing for me, who is guiding me through my intuition every day. And it was just this overwhelming sense of something that, again, was just deeper than I've ever known before on, you know, when I'm on my own, not really tuned into that. So number one, you did not have to be outside. You did not have to be in the path, you know, in the most effective spots. You didn't even need to see it. Some people said, oh, it rained or there was a lot of clouds. We didn't see anything, but they're still having all the symptoms. So that's why. And to kind of continue what's going on within us, the last, literally, I mean, honestly, this started for a lot of us back in 2008, but I won't go into all of that tonight. A lot of us in 2008 had a massive crisis. Just, our world fell apart. Mine certainly did. I lost everything in my life. My boyfriend had an illness that, a mental illness that destroyed our home, burned my car to the ground, wiped out my bank accounts, you know, just everything lost within a day. In 2008, I know a lot of people who got divorced in 2008. A lot of people who became unemployed in 2008. So this really began then for some of us, and for others of us, it really kicked in 2012, or that's when we really noticed it. But especially in the last 4 to 6 months or so, you will have probably been feeling this sense of well, deep challenge. You know, maybe some of your oldest stuff that has been buried underneath the surface was coming up. And it might have been things I heard people say so many times, like, I've already healed that, or I've already dealt with that, or I already went to therapy for 12 years for that. I don't know why it's coming up again, or I don't know why I'm thinking of it all of a sudden, or why it's affecting me again. So it was the oldest stuff that wasn't quite healed that was coming up to the surface. The other thing was anywhere that we were being resistant in our lives. Like, you know, maybe there was a relationship that we were in that wasn't really aligned with our highest good, and but we were too scared to leave it. And so it would have maybe gotten a little harder and a little harder and a little worse and a little more volatile and a little more violent, and, you know, until it almost, maybe even during this eclipse, forced you out. To where you could not stay any longer. And that's what happens, right, guys? Like when we're not sure, or we say we're confused and we don't take the steps that we're intuitively guided to take, the universe speaks to us very nicely, and then it talks to us very sternly, and then it screams at us, and then it, you know, and then it forces us to what it was telling us all along if we don't listen. So that's what happens. You know, I always say growth is never a matter of, you know, if you're going to do it. It's just a matter of when. So sometimes we delay those. I used to really live my life by, I would move when crisis would move me. And it was not a fun way to live, I'll tell you that. I don't do that anymore, but, okay, so The other thing that Angie said here that I think we can all really relate to is she said, I've been feeling not as positive and not sure why. Well, there's a couple reasons for this. One is anything that is still buried underneath, anything that maybe you haven't dealt with, or maybe it's someone else's stuff, but you're tolerating it. There's an expression that's wanting to come up and out. There's a change that's wanting to happen, especially anger. You know, I know, Angie, you mentioned that you were feeling angry. Angry is an emotion that is transformative. It's one of our greatest emotions that we can listen to because it says, you know what? It cannot stay this way any longer. Something has to change. And thankfully, God's designed it to where that change isn't outside of us. It's not in our president. It's not in a community or an organization. That change is actually in us. And the peace always lies within us to choose for ourselves. So if you're really angry, it probably is beckoning you to look at what wants to change in your life. And the urge is just really strong right now. And in fact, the one thing I really want to express tonight is that the solar eclipse is not a bad thing. It's not a punishment of any kind. In fact, one of my dear friends texted me one night about a week before the eclipse, and he said he had a huge, vivid dream about the solar eclipse. And when he researched it, it said it represented a very bad omen. And he said, oh my gosh, he was so freaked out. And I said, well, here's the thing, you know, it depends on what you define as bad. Yes, there may be some old unresolved conflict or unresolved emotions or unresolved pain coming up for you right now. But it's coming up to be deleted because the universe is trying to support you in moving forward into a new energy, into a new experience, into the love that you're so worthy of in every way that it reflects back to us. And so by holding on to the old and keeping our vibration low in suppressed anger and people we haven't forgiven and grief that we haven't been able to process, what's going to happen is that might have a spotlight on it right now because the universe is trying to help you be aware. So anger is an awareness, is really what it is. Now I said that this anger can also be two things, right? So I want to tell you all the second thing, and for all of you who are checking in tonight, and I think there's a whole Facebook group that might be, some of you all might be here tonight, that is specifically for empaths and sensitive people and healers, which I just love. You know, what happens with those of us who have the spiritual gift of empath or of empathy is we tend to feel not only our own emotions, but we can tend to feel the entire world's emotional state, or sometimes the entire community, or just the people in our homes. And so we have to learn how to manage that energy. We have to learn how to let go of what is not ours and be really discerning about what is. And so sometimes when I'm carrying around other people's burden and other people's energy, and even people I don't know, you know, I could walk into Starbucks and walk out with all kinds of conversations going on, and I can't really make them out, but I just feel it. And the way that it comes through to me in a feeling is agitation. I'm like extremely agitated and just angry and just short, and things just aren't as easy. And when I'm agitated for no reason or angry for no reason, that's usually my clue that it's not mine, that I'm actually, you know, being invaded with other people's anxiety and stress and all of that stuff. So what I do is a few things to clear that energy. I'll actually just go into it now. First of all, I take a hot bath in sea salt or Epsom salt and baking soda, and I'll add a little lavender oil in there because I love that, or any oils that you would love to use the energy of. But sea salt really cleanses the stress toxins in the body. And while I'm in that bath, I will actually say a little prayer to release all the energy that is not my own and to claim back all the energy that is my own. The other tool that really helps is grounding yourself, getting in nature, maybe, you know, putting your feet in the grass, go hug a tree, literally. Sometimes I go to this place here in Nashville called Radnor Lake, and I just, during my walk, I'll actually just kind of step aside and just put my hands around, you know, on a tree and or just lean up against it and just really allow it to recharge me and take all the again, just the energy that's not my own. It doesn't have to be negative energy. There's no reason, none of us are born to carry other people's stuff. We're not designed that way, and we don't have to. Of course, there are some visual meditation exercises, and I have a great visual energy exercise too that I could teach you if you want to. If you guys want to comment to me, maybe I can do another Facebook Live sometime and actually teach that energy exercise as well. That's so helpful. But I won't take time tonight to do that. I'm not a very visual person, so visually grounding myself doesn't really work well for me. But if you even just Google how to ground yourself, if you are a visual person, you'll probably love it. You'll love these kind of meditations where you can actually see the roots coming out of your feet into the ground. So that's something you can do. Billy Paul, you just said I have a question, but I don't see it yet. So go ahead and shoot when you, and maybe you've already written it, but I'll get to it here. Oh my gosh, my sister is just chatting with everybody. I love this. Marla Ashmore, say hi. She'll entertain you all while I do this. Okay, Amy Hauk, when will we stop feeling sick from all of this? I've been sick for 2 days. Sometimes a client actually called this today, called it the Eclipse flu. And that's about right. It's not really, we're not really sick. What's happening is we're feeling our bodies are trying to adjust to a whole new frequency that's been kind of downloaded onto our planet. And another word for frequency would be higher consciousness. And that adjustment requires that our body be recalibrated to actually manage that. And the recalibration, we don't have to do anything except for not resist it. The recalibration is happening on its own. And so our not resisting it, and one of those is saying I'm sick, something's wrong, constantly complaining about it, that is a resistance that we're creating, which will make it longer and make it worse. But if we just accept, wow, this is so powerful, what a miracle that my body will adjust to hold higher information, higher consciousness, higher frequency on its own. And just really nurture ourselves. This is a great time of self-love, self-care, self-nurturing, and I know a lot of us aren't good at that. And so this is one of those moments that you have to just sit back and receive and really practice that in your life. So I think what Amy means because I've been talking to Amy actually the last couple of days and in Pennsylvania, and she, I'm not sure your exact symptoms, Amy, but I know we've been feeling like a little sick to our stomach. A lot of us, I know I've received a lot of messages saying I was up all night with an upset stomach. For me, I'm just a little queasy. It's not so upset that I can't work, but it's just a little nauseous. Some of us are feeling really lightheaded, a little headachy. So I want to actually go through, and I actually typed them out here. I want to go through, the physical symptoms and why some of us are feeling it in other places and some of us aren't. It's actually really fascinating. When our body's being recalibrated, we basically have what's called a chakra system. It's like at least 7, we actually have many more, but 7 major chakra points in that run up and down our spine. They're just power centers, basically. And so as those are being recalibrated, that's where we might feel it the most. If that power center was closed or has been closed for a long time, or maybe just kind of, has some cobwebs in it or something. I know years ago in 2012 when we went through a big shift like this, I had parasites in my lungs. Well, actually I had bronchitis, and